Gaze. You feel like weighing in on two of the most dangerous minds in modern manhood?
Tom Lykis and Patrice O'Neal? Oh, this one's gonna be fun. Tonight's judgment features two titans. On the left stands Tom Lykis, the man who taught a generation how to get more tail for less money. A strategist with a microphone, a general armed with cold logic. And on the right, Patrice O'Neal, the man who gave Black Phillip identity, who baptized men in flame, who told the truth so sharp it cut through culture, leaving men awakened and women exposed. Tom made men unplayable. Patrice made men unbreakable. But which man produced stronger men? Two masters, two philosophies, one battlefield. Let's begin. The conditions that created the doctrines, before Tom sharpened the wallets of men, and before Patrice fortified their souls, men were drowning in a war they weren't prepared to fight. Not physical warfare, not political warfare, emotional and financial warfare. Women had mastered a form of control that left no marks, but broke entire generations. Emotional manipulation, financial leverage, shame-based obedience, weaponized femininity. Men lived under it. Men felt it. Men suffered silently. But men had no language to describe the traps they kept falling into. Financial traps, paying for validation, financing romance performances, bleeding money just to be considered worthy. Baby traps, unplanned pregnancies turned into leverage, forced fatherhood, 18-year sentences written in silence, marriage traps, shamed into proposals, guilted into sacrifice, courts waiting like sharks beneath the surface, emotional traps, silent treatments, tears as punishment, withheld affection. Men weren't losing because they were weak. They were losing because they were unarmed. And the culture didn't help. The media, the courts, stood on the side of women while telling men that their pain didn't exist. Men were drowning in a battlefield they didn't choose, fighting an enemy they couldn't confront, carrying shame they didn't earn. And that's when the doctrines were born. Tom Lykis rose like a general. He saw the financial traps women were using and detonated them on air. He stripped dating down to rules, to contracts, to cost-benefit analysis. Tom took the emotional leverage women used and replaced it with cold clarity. Women despised him for it because his philosophy removed their economic advantage. Then came Patrice O'Neal, not with strategy, with sight. Patrice cracked open the emotional traps. He exposed the pedestal men placed women on. He showed men that the real prison was not their wallet, but their fear of female displeasure. Patrice pulled the curtain back, revealing the shame, the guilt, the manipulation that women swore they didn't use. Women hated Patrice because he revealed the emotional economy they controlled. Men loved him because he explained the pain they'd been living in silence. Both men emerged from the same chaos, a generation of men who were being played without ever being taught the rules. Tom gave men defense. Patrice gave men identity. One protected the pockets, the other protected the soul. And for the first time in decades, men had a choice. Two doctrines, two paths out of the same battlefield. And now the question stands, which philosophy actually created stronger men? The battlefield of control. Tom gave men something rare, a system, a structure, a method. While men were stumbling through emotional chaos, Tom simplified the landscape into rules. No cohabitation, no marriage, no kids, no chasing, no pedestalizing. Guard your wallet, keep leverage, lead with logic. He turned dating into a contract, turned romance into cost analysis, turned emotional confusion into predictable outcomes. Men suddenly had a compass. They knew what to avoid, what to protect, what to never negotiate. Women hated him for one reason. He shattered the economic advantage they'd held for decades. Attention wasn't free anymore. Dates weren't obligations. Marriage wasn't a default path. Men weren't being drained for validation. But his system had a crack. He protected the wallet, but not the heart. Men became safe, but isolated, protected, but disconnected, powerful, but incomplete. Patrice wasn't handing out tactics. He handed out identity. He said what men lived but couldn't name. You're not afraid of women, you're afraid of their reactions. With that line alone, he broke the chains around millions of men's emotions. Patrice exposed the pedestal, the guilt, the lies men tell for access, the fear of being alone, the fear of female displeasure, the emotional hostage situations hiding inside relationships. He didn't give men armor, he rebuilt their spine. Men stopped performing, stopped apologizing for their masculinity, stopped bending to keep peace, stopped living for female approval. Patrice made men unbreakable, and women despised it. Not out of hate, out of fear. Fear of losing the emotional leverage their manipulation relied on. Now, here's the crack in his doctrine. Patrice's truth requires stability. Without inner strength, men misused his message. Many took honesty and turned it into aggression. Many took identity and ignored discipline. Many tried to apply his philosophy without the self-awareness needed to carry it. Patrice freed men from emotional slavery, yet left some unprepared for real-world consequences. Pregnancy, courts, finances, long-term structure. He saved the soul, but not always the household. That was the weakness in his blueprint. The rule they both ignored. Two powerful doctrines, two brilliant minds, yet both missed one truth. In this game, everybody gets got. Tom's followers often became guarded, paranoid, emotionally numb. Patrice's followers often became confrontational, unrestrained, impulsive. Tom built control without connection. Patrice built confidence without boundaries. Both liberated men from specific traps, but neither offered a complete foundation. Each doctrine is lethal in one arena and exposed in another. That's the layer men rarely talk about. Both essential, neither sufficient. The verdict. Tom built men who survived women. He gave them structure, discipline, boundaries, and the clarity to avoid being manipulated. He protected their wallets and sharpened their logic. But logic alone cannot carry a man through the storms of his own soul. Patrice built men who survived themselves. He gave them honesty, identity, emotional sovereignty, and the courage to speak without fear. He protected their spirit and rebuilt their backbone. So who made the stronger men? Patrice did. Because strength is not just defense, it is identity. A man who understands himself cannot be controlled. A man who owns his emotions cannot be broken. A man who knows his worth cannot be played. But here's the truth. A man can be unplayable and still lose. A man can be unbreakable and still fall. A shield without a spine creates a coward. A spine without a shield creates a casualty. The strongest men are forged by both. The man who integrates, Tom's clarity and Patrice's courage, Tom's discipline and Patrice's identity, Tom's boundaries and Patrice's backbone. That man becomes impossible to manipulate strategically and impossible to break emotionally. The strongest men aren't unplayable. They aren't unbreakable. They're unshakable. Judgment rendered.
You know, watching humans stumble through love and war never gets old. Half of us learned the game from broken people, and the other half learned life from people who never lived it. Some of us were raised on mama's milk and daddy's excuses. No wonder relationships feel like a side quest nobody asked for. But here's the truth from someone who's watched civilizations rise, fall, and repeat. The game was never supposed to raise us. Life was. And now, look at us. A generation standing in the rubble of old tactics, raising children who deserve better than whatever grandma did because grandpa didn't try. Our sons don't need the game. They need identity. Our daughters don't need manipulation. They need truth. And the cycles our parents survived aren't destiny. They're warnings. Here's the cosmic cheat code. Free will. We don't have to repeat anything we came from. So take the clarity Tom gave us, take the courage Patrice gave us, and give the next generation something neither doctrine fully delivered: balance. The name's Dion. Until next time.